What's up everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Taylor and I know today's video title sounds like clickbait. I promise you, it is not clickbait. The reason that I think this is a guitar pedal that every guitar player should have in their arsenal is because at some point, you're gonna wanna power a cabinet. Like it's the natural progression of things. Maybe you started playing guitar and you're like a Genty boy and you just use plugins or you just use your Quad Cortex or whatever into your audio interface or your HX Stomp or your whatever it is, doesn't matter. Maybe you are a tube amp guy and you're like, tube amp, all the way until I die. That's cool, but there are a lot of situations where you might need a backup for your tube amp rig. Or on the other end, like if you're one of the plugin or modeler guys, you might want to power a cabinet at some point, and this is a pretty easy way to do that. Of course, I'm talking about a power amp pedal, like this one that I have here from Lichtlerum Audio. This is new, they just released this. This is, look in the little fancy pouch. This is the Pandora. And if I have stuff to say about it, you can insert that now. That'd be a good time to do it. This is the Lichtlerum Pandora Power Amp pedal. It's capable of producing up to 60 watts at 8 ohms or 30 watts at 16 ohms. It runs off of anywhere in between 12 and 24 volt power supplies, both DC and AC, and polarity doesn't matter, which is nice because it makes it easier to find a 24 volt power supply and get the full headroom out of this pedal. It has a built-in power amp impedance curve based off an actual negative feedback network. The presence and depth controls are also modeled after actual tube power amps, and while this will work with a modeler or other digital gear, it is really designed to be used with analog gear, tube preamps, preamp and distortion pedals, making a rig stereo, or allowing for the simple creation of wet-dry rigs, which is not my thing. I'm not going to do that in this video, but essentially you could add this power amp into your signal chain, run your effects through one side, and run the dry signal through the other side, which is what a wet-dry rig is, in case you didn't know. Now you know. Now, the reason I think this is such a valuable pedal and a must-have for guitar players is much like a tuner or a gate or another type of utility pedal, this serves a very specific function and can get you out of a tight spot, especially like let's say you play shows or you're on tour or whatever. Sometimes rigs go down. A lot of people travel with backup rigs, or in the case you're traveling like overseas or something like that, having this on your board as a fly rig. I mean, look at the size. It's just a normal pedal size. And again, if you're a bedroom guitar player or you're just starting out, I assume most of you have some sort of distortion pedal or preamp pedal, multi-effects unit or something like that that you can use this in conjunction with. So this by itself doesn't do a whole lot, but in conjunction with some sort of preamp pedal and a cabinet, this serves a very great purpose, and it fits in your gig bag. Like, look how small this is. You know what I mean? I've had this pedal for a while, and I know you just saw me take it out of the box, and you're probably thinking to yourself like, what the fuck, man? Like, I just watched you take this out of the box. Are you trying to trick me? No, the Pandora that I had on this channel was a prototype pedal, and even though it did have like the graphic, and it looked like the completed pedal, inside, it was a prototype. So this is the actual production run of them, and yeah, let's plug it in here. I wanna do a few different things with this pedal today, just to give you an idea of what we're gonna be doing here in this video. We're gonna start off, I have this Tonex One pedal. I wanna run it with the cheapest option first, which is the Tonex One pedal. Pretty inexpensive for what it is. I do wanna run this with a more boutique-y solid state preamp pedal. And then lastly, I wanna run it with a tube preamp pedal. So check out all of these variables that you have with this power amp pedal. Now, important note here, I'm powering this with a Chox DC7, and that is at 18 volts, which is the maximum volt. You actually want 24 volts to get the full headroom out of this pedal. Just keep that in mind. I don't think it's gonna make a tremendous difference in the case of this video since I'm playing at like volumes for this room without blowing my ear holes up. But if you wanted the maximum volume and headroom out of this, you would want to run it at 24 volts with the appropriate power conditioner. I'm playing the Solar X1.6 Corner just because it's bad. Like I look at this hanging on my wall sometimes, I'm just like, shit, I want to play that today. How do we do that? And everything in this video, of course, is being gated and boosted with the Devil from my company, Obsidian Audio. More information on that down in the description below. Let's get into it. Okay, that's what it sounds like with the Tonex pedal. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the Tonex ecosystem, essentially what Tonex is it is a digital recreation of analog gear. In this case, I believe this is my Ingalls Savage. It sounds like my Ingalls Savage. If you are interested in that, it's actually over on the Tonex marketplace. But back to the pedal, the Tonex pedal is like a digital emulation. And in talking with Daniel about this pedal, I think it shines more a little bit with analog gear, but we'll have to try that out. Let's do that next. Let's hook up the next pedal here, and for this more boutique-y sort of analog thing, I have the Heavy Hatchet. This is like one of my favorite preamp pedals. This pedal's awesome. So let's hook that up next. plugged into the Heavy Hatchet, and the Heavy Hatchet does have a built-in gate and boost on its own, but I want to use the Devil. The Devil has more options with it, so we're going to be using that to boost this here in just a second. I already like this power amp pedal a lot more with this preamp pedal. Let's boost this and gate it with the Devil. And my favorite feature about the Heavy Hatchet pedal is you have this rumble knob, and man, it just adds this really deep low end that I find extremely satisfying when playing guitar. So, you know, one of my favorite preamp pedals for that reason right there. Yeah. It sounds brutal, dude. I really like this preamp pedal a lot here. I mean, look at this. If this was a board right here, if this was your flight rig, I mean, you could even get by with just these two pedals because it has a built-in boost and gate with it, you know? It's very small, very convenient, very economic and efficient. And I think sometimes those things can be underrated because we get romanticized, or whatever the word is here, but you know what I mean? Like, you can sort of fall in love with amplifiers and gear and pedals and stuff like that. And while those things are extremely cool, I would never try and tell anyone like, oh, you don't need an amplifier anymore. You can just get a pedal like this. That's not what I'm saying at all. I love amps. I love gear just as much as the next guy. That's half the reason I started this channel, is just because I like collecting stuff. But if you're just looking at it in terms of like what gets you from point A to point B efficiently, a power amp pedal, man, is really a great way to do it. You know? Devil boost on. Man, I could really sit here and I could f around all day just playing this because the sound to me is so inspiring. I like this a lot, but we need to move on for the sake of this video, all right? So the next thing we're gonna plug into here is one of these, Friedman IRX. Okay, now we're plugged into the Friedman IRX pedal. This is a low-key one of my favorite products that came out in this last year for different reasons than the Heavy Hatchet, but I just think it's a really cool pedal. I think it sounds really good. It's nice. I like it a lot. But of course, let's boost it. We're not getting the same like oomph out of the low end though, like we were with the Heavy Hatchet. And I'm not really getting that much with the depth knob here. The Friedman IRX is more of that vintagey Marshall sort of sound. It's not the same like girth and low end you would have with something like a 5150 or something like that, obviously. But there is a noticeable lack of low end now. That might matter to you, it might not. Maybe you watch my videos and you're like, dude, you have too much low end. Why do you do that? It's called the high pass filter. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. You know what I'm saying? But for those of you that like this more mid-rangey sound, you know, that might not matter to you. Maybe we can add some of this back in actually with this girth knob, huh? Pretty cool. Let's try this. We're going out of the effects send right now, if I didn't mention that already. So we're bypassing any sort of power amp-ness going on with the IRX pedal. Let's actually go out of the balanced output, and now we will have that power amp section. I think I have the cabinet on too, Jesus Christ. Oh, this sounds better actually. Surprisingly, because like on paper you would think that, you know, it would not sound as good with the power amp emulation, but it does. You know, for those of you that aren't high gain nerds like myself and probably the majority of my audience, let's actually go to channel 1 here. Surprisingly, I actually like it more with the power amp emulation coming out of the RX pedal, but you know, to each your own. Your mileage might vary. You know, we're all unique, different individual guitar players. I might not rate this as the most important pedal for you to get, like especially if you're starting out as a guitar player, you know, probably get something that actually makes guitar sounds first. But I think that all guitar players at some point can really benefit from having a power amp pedal at their disposal. Let me know what you guys think about that. All right, shout out to Lichlaren for sponsoring this video. Shout out to you for being here with me. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button. If you like what I do here on this channel, consider subscribing or being super duper OP and joining these lovely people over here on Patreon, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.